My name is Candice. I'm working as a career educator at the U of T Career Center. That means that I see one-on-one students for career counseling or job coaching appointments, and I also design and develop workshops like this, more generic sort of self-exploration information. And I'll also do workshops on more specific job skills, like building resume writing skills and whatnot. So that's what I do. The reason I think it's awesome that your department has asked me to come here is because often when I'm working at the Career Center, second semester gets really busy, and I'm meeting a lot of students in the last semester of their final year, whether that be their fourth year, their fifth year, their sixth year, and they're coming to me and they're saying, okay, so what can I do with my political science degree? Or what can I do with my psychology degree? Because you're poli-sci, I put political science. But a lot of students come to me at that point asking, what can I do with my degree? And I have two answers. Well, actually, I have the same answer. But depending on the student, they interpret that answer as good news or as bad news. And my answer to this question is, the good news is you can do whatever you want. And the bad news is you can do whatever you want. Now, you can see it's the same response. The student who takes this as good news is the student who has been engaged in a bit of career exploration throughout their degree. They have a solid understanding of what strengths they've developed. They have some ideas on where that fits into the career world. And they've engaged in some maybe co-curricular, research-related activities that have helped them really develop those soft skills that help them move into the career world. The students who consider this response to be bad news are the students who have not done any of that. They have avoided thinking about what they want to do with their political science degree because it can be an anxiety-producing thought. What I'd like after this presentation for all of you is I'd like you to consider this response to be good news because you have been introduced to how to explore career possibilities and how to identify your own strengths. So let's get into a little bit of practice with that. Before I continue on, I'd like you each to partner up, introduce yourself to your partner, and tell them what your greatest strength is, and also tell them what it is, what you think it might be that you would like to do every day as part of your career. Maybe an activity or something you need to accomplish every day. Does that make sense to everyone? Cool. We'll just do this for about 3 or 4 minutes, so go, partner up. How's it been going? It's okay. They're a great group. I think it's awesome that you do this. Yeah, it's just a project for us. Okay, cool.
So, and it's part of the Step Forward.
Okay, yeah. Oh, it's smart.
This was part of that.
Helping them transition through a little bit. Yeah.
Really want to see how it goes.
Yeah, yeah, and it's hard to measure too, because you almost have to like track them throughout the entire degree, right? Do people who come to this have a, and it's also, for me when I think about careers, because I know it's a process, it's like, can't really rely on like the first career a student gets after their degree as being successful. You know what I mean? Like it's sort of, how do you move through that process? A little bit in terms of the transition out. Like just because you get a job doesn't mean it's good. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was in, yeah.
And this is unrelated to this here. Do you guys normally do workshops on etiquettes and
etiquette?
Yeah, you know.
Not really.
You know, because
and I've been asked to do it. Yeah, how do you accept a business card? And we talk about
thank you letters, you know.
That's in our like Making Connections networking workshop.
What is it?
Making Connections. Yeah, it's about networking, and we talk about sort of greetings. You know, is a handshake appropriate? I talk about being observant. Yeah. So like, what is that person doing? And, you know, Obama likes a fist pump, doesn't want to get sick, doesn't like the handshake, but, you know, pay attention to those social cues. So we do go through sort of an explicit discussion around that, and we talk about following up with a thank you when you've established a meaningful connection. I think the being observant is key, because I've been to backpack briefcase events where there's one student like hogging the whole time, and I'm like, that no one wants to talk to you anymore. Like it's sort of so. Okay, so if we could come together, how is that, talking about your strengths? On a scale of like 1 to 10, 1 being hard, 10 being easy, what would you rate answering these questions as?
5.
A 5? Okay, so we're right in the middle. We have some responses, not quite sure about them yet. We think we know our strengths. Maybe had to think about it. Any? 10? No problem? Amazing. You know, you don't need to be. I'm joking. Anyone else? A 7? Okay, so pretty comfortable. Awesome. This is a strong group. The reason I wanted to start with that activity is because when you're at university, often your focus is on your content knowledge. What is the subject matter? You're sort of going through the facts of political science. That's what you're focused on throughout your degree. But when you are moving into the career world, what's important to pay attention to and to notice is how you got through your degree. So on more of a process level, what are the skills that you've used? What are the strengths that you've developed throughout your 4, 5, 6 years here? And where do those sort of have a home in the working world? Where do those match up in the working world? And that's what employers want to hear too. When I'm reading over why employers perhaps do not want to hire a university student, often it's because that university student fails to clearly communicate how their experience at university will benefit that company and that employer. And when you think and talk in a skills-based way, that's what will connect with an employer. Maybe not so much the title of your undergrad thesis, but how you did that undergrad thesis, the critical thinking, the research. That's what will speak to an employer. So that's why we started with that activity. And I like to think of that activity as a little bit of stepping out of the university fishbowl. This is where you're doing all your work, focused on all your studies. It's good to pause sometimes, step out of that fishbowl, look in, and how am I doing that? Sort of look at that process. Does that make sense to people? We're good? Okay. Not everyone likes metaphors, so I was wondering if I should put the fishbowl up. But okay, so when we think about moving from the political science classroom to the career world, step 1 is identifying your skills. I've gotten into the importance of that a little bit, but to go into it a little bit more, the importance of identifying your skills. Number 1, only you know you. If you put your political science degree on your resume, no one is going to assume what skills you have developed throughout that degree. An employer will skim it over unless you make it very clear what skills you have developed. They might assume you want to go into politics, but you're applying for a market research analyst position, so they just throw it aside. Just because someone studied geography doesn't mean they're good at directions, but that might be what someone assumes unless they clearly explain the skills they developed throughout that degree. And only you know how you're getting through your degree. Some of you are exhibiting great time management skills, and other people are just working really well under pressure because they don't really use those time management skills. So only you know how you're getting through your degree. Also, when you think in terms of skills, it really expands the career opportunities available to you. I went on monster.ca, a popular job search engine, and I searched political science. One job came up, and it was for like an associate professor, I think. When I searched critical thinking, because I'm pretty sure that a lot of political science are developing critical thinking skills, 93 jobs came up. So when you're thinking in terms of your unique set of skills and strengths, it greatly expands the career options available to you. Also, when you start with reflecting on your skills when it comes to connecting those to the working world, there have been some studies conducted within the field of positive psychology that show when someone goes into a career because it capitalizes on their strengths, they have an increased sense of personal well-being when compared to someone who went into a career because it matches their content knowledge or their subject knowledge. So when you're thinking in terms of your unique set of skills and strengths, it may help you. It's correlational, it's not causational, so I'm going to throw that out there. But it's something to think about. It often increases your sense of personal well-being. These last 2 points I'll throw up there at the same time. when you know your skills and strengths, it can, I've noticed in students, increase their confidence when they're going into networking events. It can increase their confidence when they're going through interviews. So that's something to think about, because when you have an increased sense of confidence in those scenarios, when you can clearly communicate your skills and strengths, it increases your chance of success when seeking employment. Okay. Now we've been talking about skills sort of like they're out there without giving you some concrete examples of potential skills you may be developing. So I wanted to put this together to give you a better sense of what I'm talking about. Identifying your skills. Because you're university students, I think a lot of you, some of you, may have developed time management skills, research skills, critical thinking skills. I also did some research on skills particular to political science students. What are skills that you may be developing sort of stronger than someone else in a different field? These involved influencing people. It made me think that you all should be in sales or something, influencing people. No, mediating conflicts, listening critically, presenting ideas clearly. These were all skills that came up in relation to political science. Now, you might not have them. It depends on what courses you're taking, how you're getting through school, but this is just to give you some ideas on skills you may perhaps be developing. And then there are also skills that you develop through co-curricular activities, through volunteering with a professor to do some research work, through some maybe coursework that you're doing that involves working on a team, through a part-time job, I said volunteer? I said volunteer. Those are experiences that are important for your resume, that really do enhance what you have to offer an employer. You don't want to graduate with just your degree. You want to be doing some other things that really enhance and exemplify how you use your soft skills. Okay, I would like to take a break from talking, and what I would like you all to do is partner up again. And I expanded that list of skills commonly related to political science students. Now, what I'd like you to do is, if you identify with one of these skills up there, I'd like you to speak with your partner about where you developed that skill and how it helped you achieve an outcome, or how it helped you fulfill a responsibility in that situation. Does that make sense to people? Yep. If you have a particular skill that you would like to talk to someone about that's not here, that's okay too. I just want you to practice talking about your skills in terms of how you develop them. Okay? Great. Okay. How were your conversations? Was that?
Really productive.
It was really productive? Well, you already have like all the skills in the world and know how to talk about them. That first activity was a breeze, so it does not surprise me that it was very productive. The reason I wanted to take some time to have you talk about how you develop this skill is because it's not just enough to say, oh, I have the skill of organizing people. When you're talking to employers and you're talking to people who you maybe want to network with, you're going to need to attach that to an experience and explain how you've developed that skill. So I wanted to get you sort of thinking about that. So after you've gone through, step one is identifying your skills, your strengths. I like to start with that personally, like where are you, and then get into a process of exploring different careers that are out there. This does not mean you're committed to any particular career. It's just getting out there and getting some ideas around where perhaps you may want to end up after this degree. We have a number of online resources that you can use to explore different careers related to political science, or even related to industries that you may see as sort of separate from political science, but you may be looking for a place for you to apply your skills, like maybe entertainment. UTM has an excellent careers by degree website. They have a page for political science students. They have a number of other degrees, and you can explore those as well, because the skills you have are highly transferable to a number of areas. But I like that because it gives you sort of an idea of what are professional associations that I might want to be volunteering with or sort of joining at this level. What are some industries that I could be looking into? What are some job titles that kind of pique my interest? At the Career Centre at St. George, we have cln.utoronto.ca. That's our engine for online job search tools. We also have a website that's largely informational, but CLN has anyone been on Career Cruising? Anyone use that? Yeah, I'm not like a huge fan. Yeah, usually they use it in high school. It is there, and it does have another careers by degree sort of search, so you can take a look. It is kind of dated. I find carpenter comes up for every degree. So I'm like, really? I don't really know. Check it out. See, there might be an idea there, a career title, job title to explore. We also have the Canadian Directory for Careers and Employers. That's kind of a neat search engine. You can look for companies by industry in a particular geographical location. So if you're looking for companies, industry could be government, and you can look for all the companies, all the offices that exist in the city of Toronto in that industry. We also have Going Global, has jobs overseas, volunteer positions overseas, and there's also a job board on CLN. So you might want to get on there and see sort of what job postings are up, which companies are hiring students. I strongly encourage students to, when they're exploring careers, not just stick to online job search methods, but also try to engage with some of the events that are going on campus. And one event that is coming up, October 7th, there is a political science backpack to briefcase event. Does anyone know what backpack to briefcase is, or no? It's an event that's run by the alumni department, and they get people who have graduated from political science, and there's a few different departments being represented that night, but they get those undergrads who have been successful in their career path to come and talk about how they did that. It's like a career panel. So there are events like that take place on campus that help you engage explore different careers. Is anyone in Paul 214? Yeah, have you heard of the Explore It program? Okay, so Explore It, they're developing a series specific to that class. For the rest of you, the Career Center has a program called Extern. What is involved in Extern is you go to an orientation, and after you've gone to that orientation, you're given access to a list of about 500 alum from arts and science who've gone into a variety of career paths. You select your top 3, and then you get to job shadow one of those 3 for half a day to a week. So that's one sort of experiential way of learning about different careers that are available to you. So try to get out there and explore a bit and take advantage of the programs being run at the university. There's also Talent Egg is a good website, and you can also get on the government sort of job bank to see what's out there. When I was doing some research, industries that people with your degree tend to go into, if you don't see an industry you want to go into up here, that's okay. I just wanted to give you some ideas about where students tend to go after their undergrad. Newspaper and media, go into universities and colleges, professors and admin roles, tend to go into banks, so finance. Different research organizations are hiring poli-sci grads. So you can explore different industries, and you can also start exploring different job titles through each of these search engines. This is a list of job titles that political science students have jobs that political science students have gone into upon completion of their degree. So as you're reading these, there may be one that kind of piques your interest, you think might match your skills or your strengths. So I encourage you to start keeping a list. What are the industries I'm interested in, and what are the job titles within that industry that I'm sort of thinking might be good for me. Step 3, after you've done your career research, your self-research, is to find your best fit. Where's a job, where's an industry that capitalizes on my strengths? Where will I succeed? When you're looking for what employers are asking for, if we were to start with sort of a broad lens, where will you fit? Employers want people who have people skills, communication skills, problem-solving skills. This was a survey that was conducted in just January of this year. And hiring managers were asked in general, when you're evaluating entry-level hires, what skills do you want? So you can see that it is a lot of the soft skills that you're building throughout your degree, not necessarily the content knowledge. So that's something interesting that I wanted to show you. Also, when you're looking for your best fit, this is a slide, the future work skills. So I just showed you the work skills that employers are currently asking for. I like this slide. I think it was a university in Texas conducted this research project, and they're like, what skills will employers want in the future? We have social intelligence up here, new media literacy, virtual collaboration. It's something to think about. What skills are you developing now that may be desired when you graduate in a few years? But also when you're looking for your best fit, you can look at what skills in general do employers want in a particular field, but also maybe specifically looking at some job postings. What are the skills that people want in that industry that I'm interested in? And do I have those skills? Does this job really capitalize on my strengths? This is a job posting that is up at Mars, the research institute down the street right now. They wanted someone specifically with a political science degree and also someone who is an energetic team player. Does that sound like you? They wanted someone with strong organizational skills, someone who had the ability to multitask, use good judgment. Do you have those skills and strengths? Is that job of interest to you? This was another job posting for a corporate engagement and grants writing manager at Free the Children. Once again, they wanted someone with a poli-sci background. And when you look at what else they wanted, it was a lot of these soft skills that you're developing throughout your degree. The ability to maintain a high degree of discretion. You're a quick learner. You demonstrate strong organizational skills. So after you've done those sort of researching yourself, researching the career world, where's the best fit? Look at some specific job postings. And if you find that those job postings are asking for skills that you maybe don't have, think of how you could build those skills throughout your degree. You have a number of years to build the soft skills that are being requested. You can get involved in different research programs that are running here. There are work-study jobs, volunteer opportunities on campus. There's also the co-curricular record now, which is a nice search engine that offers you sort of a list of different ways to get involved on campus. You can also think of part-time employment. Cool. That is it for me. Any questions about the information that was just given? Thoughts? Yep.
Can I get all these slides?
You would like all of these slides? If I were to hand them off, that's okay. And I think Rodney was going to take them as well, so I can send them around.
Better if you send it to Lauren.
Sure.
And then did you all sign up an Eventbrite for this event? Yes.
Send it around. Or you can watch it again. I feel like a movie star. No. I would highly recommend you don't watch it again because my voice on a recording, worst thing ever. Cool. So just an overview, identify your skills. We have some workshops at the Career Center that can help you further do that. You can explore careers and then find your best fit or make it fit after you've done your research about what skills you might need. If you find you're not getting them throughout your degree, there are other things that you can do that employers do want. That is all. I have a calendar here of events at the Career Center. Feel free to grab that. And I'm here for questions, if you have any. That's it. Cool. Oh, thank you.